where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This is going to be the Q&A video that I said would be coming up this week, and I'm going to base this video off the first Godzilla video from this week. So I'm going straight to the comment section. I'm going to pull up some of these questions. I probably won't get to do all of them, obviously, but I'll do a couple that I thought were interesting. And then whatever I don't catch, I'll be sure to carry over to the following week. So if you want to make a comment here in this video, or I can just go back to this one, whichever works. But first one I want to start with is Chris Leotis. What abilities would you like to see Godzilla have in Godzilla King of Monsters? Do you want his old abilities brought back, or would you like to see new abilities created for him? What would those new abilities be? It all depends. Like, we know that the nuclear pulse is one huge ability he uses quite a bit. You see, what I think, it all really depends on if they're going to keep it in line with Garrus' theme in the 2014 movie, where they're trying to be really grounded. And if they keep with that approach, then I don't see him having anything too special. You might see like an enhanced beam. But if they decide to go balls to the wall and, go nuts and just go, have at it, then yeah, I could see them trying to adapt the nuclear pulse. I don't see them straying too far away from what Toho has done before. One thing that was good about the 2014 movie is that it was very much, even as far as Godzilla looks and some of his things he did, were very much in line with what Toho's done. Obviously they made their own design, but it was very, very much inspired by the Toho design, where obviously we know the 98 movie was complete opposite. So, but the other thing you got to consider too is Legendary's version of Godzilla is a bruiser. He doesn't rely too much on his atomic breath. I mean, he used it twice in the movie, and I believe the first time he used it was a moment of opportunity. The female Muto was not paying attention, had their back turned, and he was able to charge it up and use it. And the second time he used it, he stuck up from behind. So I think Legendary Godzilla uses his breath in moments of opportunity. There's another scene, if you remember, he pushed the female Muto to the floor, put his foot on top of her, and he was about to blow his breath on her until the flying Muto hooked him away. So I think his breath is more of an opportunity. I don't think he uses it or is going to use it as freely as the Toho version, where he just spews that shit. It doesn't matter if you can see it coming or not. He's just going to spew it. So I think his abilities will be pretty grounded unless they decide to go nuts. So let's move on here. I'm starting from the bottom up because those are the first few comments, and then the newest comments are on the top. So let's see here. So this is from Rick Squirrel. Do you think Legendary can pull off a Destroy All Monsters remake? It would be like Infinity War of the Kaiju universe. I think they could. In fact, that might be the end game for them. That might be the end game. And it could be a kind of movie and it could be something that's not necessarily a dedicated movie for Destroy All Monsters. It could be something that takes place in the Godzilla vs. Kong movie, where Ghidorah makes his appearance, and then suddenly, not only do Kong and Godzilla reluctantly team up to take him down, but here comes Mothra and Rodan from the prior movie that got their ass kicked by Godzilla, and they decide to join the fray. It could be something like that on a smaller scale. I think if they do a movie dedicated to Destroy All Monsters, which I think they can, it all depends on how these movies do. I think, I said in my other video, and it all depends which one I put up first, but you'll know what I'm talking about in case I put that one up first or last. But I said in my another video I recorded earlier that I think the movies they have planned are the movies they're going to have. I don't think they're going to stray too far away from that. So, but Destroy All Monsters Legendary style would be pretty cool, man. All right. So, Rob, do you think this is from Truman Fleming, Rob, do you think we'll possibly see any Toho monsters in Kong Skull Island? For example, Gorosaurus, Kamacuras, Kamanga, etc. Glad you're back. Thank you. You've been self since the beginning. Thank you, Truman. There's always an outside shot, and I can't say no because we don't know what's going on with the movie. We don't have any privileges like that. So for me to just outright say no, I can't really say that because I don't know. However, with that said, when you consider what we do have, I shouldn't say we because I'm not part of Legendary, but when you consider what Legendary does have rights to, at least as far as they've told us, they have rights to 3 Toho monsters and that's it. So you take that and then add to the fact that Legendary and the production team for Kong Skull Island have made it very clear that this is a Kong movie. They want this to be focused on Kong. And I think anything they do that throws in any Godzilla universe related material takes away from this being a Kong movie. That's why, like, I really feel in theory that your one Easter egg that links King Kong or Kong Skull Island to Godzilla is Monarch, and I think that's as far as what you're gonna get. So, you know, it's a wait and see approach. I think we might, but I also think the chances are better that we won't. So, all right, moving along. Let's see here. What do you think are, this comes from Sci-Fi Guy 117, what do you think are the odds Legendary making other kaiju solo movies like a Mothra Rodan remake, reboot, or Ghidorah solo movie? So this kind of echoes what I was talking about in my other video, once again, talking about whether or not Legendary will expand beyond just the movies that we know about that involve Godzilla. And I pretty much answered this question in that video, but to answer it here, and I'll make it short, I think what they have planned now is what we're going to get. I don't think we're going to get anything further than that. I think to expect them to make runoff movies for other monsters that don't have Godzilla involved is a bit of a stretch. You know, Godzilla is a household name. Even people who are not kaiju fans know who Godzilla is. Even people who are not hardcore kaiju fans will occasionally watch a Godzilla movie, whether it's for nostalgia, whether because they're in a mood for a monster romp and he's the most notable monster out there. There's always a chance, once again, I don't like to completely 100% say no, because depending on how they design these monsters, depending on the monster's backstory and their appeal, there's always a chance that you could hit a slam dunk with a monster that becomes extremely popular and people want to see more of. The important thing is that they've given themselves an opportunity to do that. Whether or not they will be able to remains to be seen. I'm going to lean towards no. So, all right. So let's see here. This comes from Driverant110. So he's asking about Zilla. I mentioned something in this video about Zilla, and his response with this question was, do you think Zilla could work in some capacity in the Legendary Kaiju universe, such as fulfilling a minor threat role, mainly for humans? No. And it's not because it's a bad monster. It's not because Zilla's horrible, but he is synonymous with failure in terms of Godzilla movies. So I think if you try to redeem him in another Godzilla series as a one-off monster, you're potentially tainting your what's right now a pretty good product. So no, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Yeah, nope. No room for Zilla. Only in our hearts is there room for Zilla anymore. So yeah. All right, let's keep moving on here. So this comes from Van Howling. Do you think some original monsters will appear beside Toho monsters in Godzilla 2? Could you make a video about this? Also, do you think Godzilla 3 is still a thing, or was it replaced by Godzilla vs. Kong? I believe Godzilla 3 is going to be Godzilla vs. Kong, but don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. As far as your other question, whether or not we'll see original monsters appear beside the Toho monsters in the sequel, I'm going to say no. And if they do, it's going to be a one-off quick shot monster that maybe Godzilla slays. But for the most part, I can't really see them fitting in more monsters on top of 2, because you're introducing other iconic monsters that are known not only in the kaiju universe, but to some degree outside of that as well. You know, general fans, while they know Godzilla, they're probably familiar with Mothra as well, and they're probably familiar with Rodan. Both monsters had their own movies that did rather well back in the 60s when they came out and stuff. So these monsters, because they're a little bit more iconic, not as iconic as Godzilla, but iconic in their own right, and they're recognizable, they're gonna require some story. They're gonna require some investment, and that doesn't really leave much room for original monsters. So, because you remember, the Muto had their own tales as well. You know, the Muto had their own backstory and stuff like that. So, you know, you're definitely gonna have to get some sort of backstory for Mothra and Rodan and Ghidorah. So, and those are two of those three monsters are very complicated to give a backstory. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. But anyway, guys, that's it for this Q&A. Thank you very much for your questions. Great questions. And keep them coming. I will obviously next week do another Q&A video answering whatever questions you guys have in this comment section. And yeah, that's it. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. This is Rob signing off for ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching ETN. You can follow ETN on Facebook, Twitch, or Twitter, or join the Nation Facebook page. Don't forget to click that subscribe button on your way out. You're watching ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This is going to be the Q&A video that I said would be coming up this week, and I'm going to base this video off the first first Godzilla video from this week. So I'm going straight to the comment section. I'm going to pull up some of these questions. I probably won't get to do all of them, obviously, but I'll do a couple that I thought were interesting. And then whatever I don't catch, I'll be sure to carry over to the following week. So if you want to make a comment here in this video, or I can just go back to this one, whichever works. But first one I want to start with is Chris Leotis. What abilities would you like to see Godzilla have in Godzilla King of Monsters? Do you want his old abilities brought back, or would you like to see new abilities created for him? What would those new abilities be? It all depends. Like, we know that the nuclear pulse is one huge ability he uses quite a bit. You see, what I think, it all really depends on if they're going to keep it in line with Garrus' theme in the 2014 movie, where they're trying to be really grounded. And if they keep with that approach, then I don't see him having anything too special. You might see like an enhanced beam. But if they decide to go balls to the wall and, go nuts and just go, have at it, then yeah,